Good afternoon, and welcome to the second session of Day 2 Virtual Open Day. My name is Tulare Matlaba, the Global Brand Manager for Inscape Education Group, and in the second session, we'll be covering the Digital Design and Technology faculty. Housed in this faculty are design techniques, graphic design, audio-visual design, as well as interaction design. To take us through design techniques as well as graphic design, Tashira Jai. Over to you.
Thank you, Tulare. My name is Tashira JJ, Graphic Design Lecturer at Inscape Durban campus. I will be taking you through the graphic design courses and specializations, as well as what you can expect when studying with Inscape. We'll discuss modules, project, partnerships, competitions, and experiential training. So let's get into this. Inscape prides itself in the excellence of its students. Every single one of the graphic design lecturers here are here to ensure that you will be well equipped with the highly skilled in your trade by the end of your qualification. In the graphic design course, whether you go through diploma or degree, you can rest assured that we will enable you with some rather intriguing methods when discussing and exploring this world of visual communication. Often one can look into the graphic design industry and look at the work produced through the lens of a client. And by this, I mean that one can take notice of a website, user interface design, corporate identities, logos, business cards, etc., and think, wow, that's really good. I want to grab a business card. I'd like to interact with that website. But what if we delve a little bit deeper into it? What if we take a look as an individual into what makes those designs work so well? Well, today we are going to let you in on some of our fundamental rules of design. And with this knowledge, we hope to give you more freedom to make the right choices in your life. And should you decide to invest in your future, to get involved in the graphic design industry with us, you'll be completely comfortable and you'll know what you're in for. So, would you like to start with me? Let's take a look at these few design techniques. The fundamentals of design I referred to earlier in the start of this little talk are very basic elements. They are line, shape, form, texture, and balance. These are the building blocks of design, and you might be thinking, Tash, wow, you're right, those are basic. It's true. I mean, while seemingly simple, these elements end up informing every decision we make in the world of graphic design. Let's expand on these elements one at a time, and we will then consider how each element influences design. So if we look at line, we can see its influence on illustrations, patterns, and graphic elements. Lines add emphasis and divide sections of content in order to group information in a manner that we can digest pleasantly. So generally, we work to guide the viewer's eye when we're designing, and line can be used in this way. Surprisingly, lines can also hide in plain sight. We notice that even type is comprised of line. The next element that we're going to cover are shapes. So shapes are two-dimensional areas with recognizable boundaries. Shapes can be geometric or organic, often used to communicate ideas visually. Now here's where it gets a little bit interesting. When you want to communicate an idea that is more structured and formal, perhaps you would go for more geometric shapes. Whereas if you are wanting to be more fluid, more nurturing, etc., perhaps an organic shape might be more suitable. So in design, infographics and symbols are largely comprised of shapes. They fill our social media feeds and illustrations with the necessary data we need in order to understand and recognize the suggested communication intended. Shapes can also shape and help you organize separate areas of data. Let's discuss forms. So what is a form? It sounds a bit strange because it's not a paper that you fill out. When a shape becomes 3D, we can define it as a form. They can be three-dimensional and exist in real life, or it can be suggested by shading techniques as well as light, shadow, and perspective. These techniques suggest the values of depth in our work. Depth is very important at times. Depending on the situation, it does bring a lot of life to the work, and even in things like layout, you could perceive depth to be similar to that of hierarchy, where you'd lead the eye of the viewer through a piece of work. Texture, on the other hand, is the physical quality of surface. It can be implied or three-dimensional with form. Often we can create interest in our designs by using textures, yet by using too much, we may destroy the quality of the work. We can suggest mood and depict a certain attitude by the use of texture. So often you'll see the use of grunge, sort of stippled textures that would suggest perhaps a rougher sort of vibe, whereas a paint stroke or a signature sort of vibe will be more elegant. And finally, we have balance. It is the equal distribution of visual weight. It is how much any one thing attracts the viewer's eye. We can influence balance with negative space and with the use of hierarchy. Grids and the rule of thirds are often used to control the way the human eye interacts with our design. So I mentioned a couple of things: negative space, hierarchy, grids, the rule of thirds. If you want to know more about that, I suggest you register for the course if you're interested, and we will tell you all about it. So, as you can see, the fundamentals of design are about the bigger picture of design, while some elements teach us to work from macro to micro. We learn to finesse our work with these simple tools at our disposal. Has your curiosity been sparked at all? If so, let's jump into the world that Inscape has to offer, with some basic elements covered in some of the, two of the Inscape courses, and then I'll move into some of the modules that are covered in the courses. So the first course that I'm going to cover is the Diploma in Graphic Design. The Diploma in Graphic Design course is a 3-year course, and junior graphic designers that qualify with this course effectively they use and manage relevant graphic design technology. This includes designing and preparing designs for reproduction, using software applications and managing reproduction processes, so specifications, costings, quality control, the works. They will collaborate with other designers and professionals within the graphic design industry and work effectively in creative teams, communicate in design language, and confidently present design solutions. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the Bachelor of Graphic Design. This is also a course that is a 3-year long course. And in the first year of this course, you will experience multiple subjects that give you the taste of each course offered at the Inscape campuses. So you will then choose to specialize in your second year of the degree. And if you choose to specialize into graphic design, you will become skilled in the areas of typography, image making, photography, interactive design, motion graphics, 3D design, and finally animation. The latest software will become second nature to you and your main artillery. Foundational design skills will be strengthened, equipping you to be a valuable asset to the industry. In this course, you will become visual storytellers, and strategy accompanied with marketing skills are sharpened here. This will lead you to embrace not only design positions in the realm of graphic arts, branding, advertising, social media, information design, but also the responsibilities of art direction, which is really a key point for this course. Some of the modules that you can expect to encounter if you sign up for either one of these courses are things like design principles, which is a module that covers the practical application of color theory, the integration of design elements and principles, as well as the basic foundation of what a successful design is. There's also graphic application. So graphic application enables the students to identify, define, and solve visual communication problems creatively, as well as integrate image and type to produce exciting compositions. It can sometimes be the culmination of various skills learned from other modules, monitored and guided by briefs, or rather in briefs by the lecturer. Graphic portfolio. So this is quite a major one. Graphic portfolio educates the young designers on how to compile their designs in a creative and competent manner. We also make sure that the student has developed an aesthetically pleasing portfolio solution, which is a representative of themselves, conveying the information required. A high level of professionality is really ensured here, as the portfolio is really important in gaining access to jobs and levels of professionality in the industry. Visual studies. So visual studies enables each designer to make use of creative processes involved in generating creative concepts and ideas. To this end, they are expected to demonstrate the ability to apply the technical knowledge and the creative skills he or she has acquired in a creative manner. There has to be a level of comprehension and sensitivity to the underlying mechanisms of visual communication and its creation, with the integration of psychology behind the conceptual process. So these concepts are then promoted to solve design problems. This is great because then the submission of critical and scientific analysis, often in the form of essays, are also expected. But this really pushes the student to grow their conceptual skills, which thus grows any design that they would push out. There are really so many modules to cover. I mean, we have conceptual studies that further works on the conceptual side of our students, graphic influences, which goes into and delves into the understanding of how politics, religion, and the ways of life of people, how that influenced art excuse me, and design during the periods before us. I mean, the way that we've been kind of dictates how we hold this tool and use it in the future. Then we have image making. I mean, this is really all about drawing and illustration and the principles around creative compositions while experimenting and exploring various observational techniques. This has been very fruitful to watch students produce illustrations that have really been and pushed the boundaries of what each previous year has done before. It's wonderful to see. We then have skills application, which tackles the students' abilities to write and research, and in further years, after first year, it moves into photography and so on and so forth, just covering a whole sector of skills. Computer applications teaches the designer how to use Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, practically majority of the suite that is needed for industry competence. We look at typography, and we have a leadership program. There's just so much to our course that it would take me so long to elaborate, but I really hope that it kind of gives you some insight, and that if you are curious about this course and the campus, you would look into this and speak to someone and sign up. That is just the tip of the iceberg. Of course, you're expected to be curious about the campus and what the course has to offer. I really hope that the brief summaries that I've given you of only some of our courses have shed some light into what you will be skilled in by the time you qualify. Before I hand over though, I would like to chat about 3 benefits you should expect when joining the team. The first and second benefits, they sometimes go hand in hand, and that's partnerships and competitions. So every year Inscape goes above and beyond when working together with their students. Industry is often included to the party as we partner with certain companies in order to issue live briefs and competitions in order to get the student, namely you, yes you, the best opportunities available as well as recognition. We want you to get exposure. We want you to get as much as you can out of these experiences. And sometimes maybe there might be a prize involved. To name 2 that I have conducted previously with my learners as part of Inscape's course notes, the Reva Rebecca Steenkamp Foundation and Standard Bank have been actively involved with our second and third year students. In other classes, there have been some involvement with the Gold Pack Packaging Solutions Company, as they've offered exciting opportunities to expand our students' talents and reputations as well. The final thing that I would like to talk to you about is our experiential training program, and that is when we send our second and third year students out into the industry for a certain amount of time where they do an internship. So the amount of value gained in these weeks have proven to be invaluable. The students come back having networked with necessary people that they need to connect with. They learn tricks of the trade. They get very good mentorship from senior designers in those agencies and studios. They often come back as well with a different hunger, with a knowledge of which sort of sector they want to kind of go into once they're in the graphic design industry. So yes, I mean, depending on how you feel about that, you might be nervous, you might be excited, but at the end of the day, it is a very exciting opportunity, and it does offer so much to our students.
Thank you very much, Tashira. And now I'll be handing over to Neil Marie Wilson to take us through interaction design as well as audiovisual design.
Thanks, Talari. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Marie, and I am one of the audiovisual and interaction design lecturers at the Inscape Pretoria campus. So this is what I'm going to be briefly talking to you guys about today. So firstly, just what is audiovisual design and interaction design, course details, so what to expect and what you'll be learning, and then 3 entry requirements, what is required of prospective applicants and students, and then 4 career options. So just giving you guys insight into the various career opportunities that exist. So firstly, I'm going to be chatting about audiovisual design and everything that entails. So there's a quote for you guys: if it doesn't move, it doesn't count. And that's basically the consensus of everyone that's online on the internet today. And if that's something you agree with, then this definitely is the course for you. So audiovisual design really is, as the name suggests, is combining graphics that move with audiovisual components, so whether that be sound or music or any kind of audio. And that's really how people like to consume their information online today, or in really any format, whether it be on their mobile phones, on a laptop screen, sitting at home watching TV. That's definitely how, especially over the last few years, people like to consume their information. It's much more engaging. It keeps the audience really focused on what it is they're watching. So whether you go onto a website and they're trying to explain to you how it is their business work or how it is their products work, people are much more likely to quickly watch a 2-minute or 5-minute video than they are to read tons and tons of paragraphs loss of text. Even if you're scrolling through Instagram, if you come across an advert of an organization or a business, their logo is no longer just static, right? It's very often moving or dynamic. And that really just is a sign of the times and where things are, quote unquote, moving to use an audiovisual pun. So audiovisual design is really an exciting field that I'm really excited about. It's a lot of hard work, but if this looks like something that's exciting to you, it's a really fulfilling course of study. So, talking about the course details, the course is split up into 3 years. So you'll start off in your first year really learning the foundations of the design principles. So starting off with foundational drawing skills, things like image making, learning communication and introduction to software, as well as leadership skills. So first year, we're really building that foundation to build really strong designers. And then in second year, that's when you start to specialize a little bit. So second year, we start looking into digital multimedia production skills, motion design skills and graphic skills, animation and audiovisual storytelling. So from first year, where we're laying that kind of foundational groundwork, second year is definitely getting a lot more specialized and starting to hone in on your skills as an audiovisual designer. Then third year is obviously where it gets really, really specialized. So we start getting into special animation and special effects, advertising and commercial videography. So again, getting the students up to industry standards so that they really feel like they are workplace ready and using their audiovisual skills for commercial purposes. And then lastly, sound and audio mixing, just to make sure that they're creating industry standard quality videos. Career opportunities can be really varied. So number one, graduates can work both in creative and corporate sectors. So taking up roles in either established design studios, specializing in the fields of film, video, sound and recording, motion graphics, animation, editing, even writing. You could potentially also go into journalism and storyboarding. So the career opportunities are really varied. And I think as students go through their 3 years of study, they really start to understand where they want to fit into in terms of their corporate experience. So it can be really varied. And then two, graduates can also freelance. So that definitely is an opportunity that's available to them. So working with other consultants and collaborating with other design disciplines to manage and coordinate projects in the field of audio and visual design. Then next I'm going to be talking about interaction design, which is something that I feel as strongly about, but a really very different field to audiovisual design, but a really exciting and growing field that really in the last few years has really shown a lot of growth, both globally and in South Africa as well. So a quote here is, people ignore design that ignores people. And that's really true of what interaction design is, because any interface you design is going to be used by a human being or another person. And if you ignore the person that's actually using that interface, then you haven't done your job successfully. So that's something that's really important to me and really important in the field of interaction design. So interaction design has a lot to do, as I said, with human-centered approaches. So doing your research, understanding who your target audience is, who your end user is, and designing an interface or system that's going to be easy for them to use, whether that be a website or an application, and making sure that it's going to be successful in terms of the design principles and how they actually interact with the system. So also a 3-year degree, and the first year, very similar to audiovisual design, we kind of lay the fundamentals. So fundamental design skills for design savvy critical thinkers. First year is also going to be doing communication, software, and leadership skills. So again, just like that foundational learning that is so important in first year to prepare the students to really have successful second and third years. In second year, they'll be getting a little bit more specialized, so getting into data visualization, which is something that's also really important. So you're able to take raw information and turn it into something visual that's useful for the user to consume. Human-computer interaction and interactive interfaces. We're going to be teaching them various UI and UX platforms, as well as more advanced software skills. So you'll see with each year, the skills get more specialized and get more expert. And then in third year, really focusing in on user experience principles, application development, strategic development, and also marketing strategies. Again, just making sure that these graduates are workplace ready and are completing projects that are of an industry standard. And then when we get to career opportunities for the interaction designers, so graduates will be equipped with the technical tools and the design skills to work in the areas of either website design and development. And that is really also a very varied field, especially when you get into the field of responsive design. So designing web applications that are going to work on laptop screens, desktop screens, mobile screens, etc. And then also various user experience and user interaction design fields. So that really could be anything that's systems or application orientated. And then same as with the audiovisual designers, interaction designers can collaborate with other design disciplines working in established studios or corporate environments, and same as the other graduates as freelance consultants as well. So what to expect from your time at Inscape? So, as I said, this is a 3-year degree. It's full-time, and it's an NQF Level 7 course. You're going to be going through 8 sessions a week, and these sessions are 1 hour and 45 minutes each, which is a really nice long session. The class is also quite small, so it allows a lot of time for one-on-one lecturer-student time, but it also leaves enough room for group work, workshops, studio time, so where students work on their projects in class and the lecturers can come around and help them and assist them. So I really like these long 1 hour 45 minute sessions, and you'll have 8 of those a week. And then along with the 8 sessions, also plus minus 2 hours of self-study for each of those 8 sessions, which is really important because you do have to learn to work independently. And obviously, you would get briefed on a project in class and then have to actually do the legwork and groundwork of your project on your own time. And then also something that I really enjoy at Inscape, which I think is really important and valuable for the students, is the 40 hours of job shadowing that they complete in their second year. So we also call it experiential training. So students are required to do 40 hours at a real world business and assist them in whatever way they can. And that really is so valuable. And I've seen it a lot in the students because they really gain a lot of insight into how the industry works. It also helps them if they've been unsure of where they want to fit into the corporate world. So the job shadowing at Inscape is something that I find really valuable and really important for students to make sure that they really are workplace ready. Then lastly, we're going to get to entry requirements. So the entry requirements at Inscape is that you have a national senior certificate. So with admission to a bachelor's degree or verification certificate indicating that you have the necessary skills you need. And then we also accept international students, and we have a lot of international students at our campus. And a study permit in the name of Inscape Group is valid for the duration of your chosen course. And then lastly, there are also special submissions at Inscape. So we offer mature age exemptions to degrees, diplomas, and higher certificates. And that's it from my side. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this talk and found it valuable. And then, use that hashtag #WeAreInscape so that we can track your journey, and hopefully we'll see you guys next year.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Once again, if you want more information, please visit our website at www.inscape.ac, visit our virtual open day page where you will find student work, you will find more content videos to give you a deeper understanding of what was covered today. You can also find us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Are Inscape. Remember, 2021 is around the corner. Get in. See you soon.